Okay. For some reason, it's not allowing me to put the picture on there. It's a green screen, so we're gonna look at my pretty face until I can change it, right? So, um, we finished off chapter 4. We had finished all the way up from 1 to 3, and so far in this book, Anaya is in her feelings. She don't know how to express herself, and Neil is trying to, I guess, calm her down by doing different things, and it's not really helping her in the way she feel. So, um, chapter chapter 3 was Neil talking, and Neil was just basically discussing how he felt about the baby and how cool it was for him to be a dad to a son. Okay. He didn't. It seemed like he didn't want things to work out with his mistress, but the way he was talking, he was confused. So we're gonna go back to Adaya and see how Adaya feels. Okay. Every day we try to stick to a routine. I wake up at 6, put on the coffee, and throw together some breakfast. Neil is out the door by 6:30. Vet gets up, eats, showers, and gets dressed to attend a few courses she's taking at the University of Houston Bay campus. Sometimes I wake Reese's, and because she doesn't do Metro, I'll drive Vet to school. Other times, she may have someone swing by and pick her up. By 8, I want everybody goes so I can begin my day with Reese. Our daughter looks like Neil with a dress. Her eyes are wide and large, like she wants to take in everything around her. Her face is beautiful and round, and her hair is mounted with braids. Let's face it, braids for little black girls are just easier to deal with. Reese squirms and complains that braiding hurts like hell, but I overlook her silly comments. We start our day belting out a little prayer. Dear Lord, bless the day, protect us from harm, let us be grateful and not complain, lead and guide our steps. Amen. We say this Monday through Friday, so no matter how we feel, no matter what have gone wrong the day before. Each day is a brand new day, Reese would say. She says it because it is what I've instructed her to say over and again, and no matter what, not that it's total lie, but neither is it something that's necessarily true merely because I proclaim it all the time. This morning, I walked in Reese's room and took her bare feet with my fingers. She sits up, rubbing her crusty eyes with brown fists. Hi, mommy. Hey, baby. I'm not a baby. I looked at her, wondering if she realizes that she said what she said. I wonder if she knows about her little brother. Nah, I can't see Neil telling her something she couldn't begin to understand. Right? You are not a baby. You're 6. Going on 20, she giggles. Reese has no idea what that means. She just repeats what Vet says, what anyone says. After you get dressed and eat breakfast, you can start working on your letters. Okay, sweetie? Mom, I already know letters. Can we do something else? Something fun? I don't say anything. Later, we're in the kitchen. A corner of the room is designed for Reese's lessons. Although I am tempted to run off into the laundry room, the den, or back to bed, I promise myself that between 8 and 1, most everything we do will center on this cubby hole. She has a tiny red desk, a computer, a box filled with toys and books, art supplies, and other learning tools. Mommy, why can't Tamika go to the real school and I have to go to the fake school? Tamika is our 8-year old neighbor who has a big fat mouth. Misha doesn't know what she's talking about, sweetie. Will you tell me why? You're special, Reese. I don't want to be special. I feel guilty. Again, I can't make my daughter understand that I'm trying to impart to her what the elementary might not have. And it's days like this that I wonder if I should recenter the workforce and return to my job as a tourism specialist. But when I think about how people go postal in the workplace and can kill folks over nothing or what, I consider how a child could be sent home for bringing a butter knife to school because it's against HISD policy. That's why I choose to be Reese's mother and her teacher. I can nurture my own daughter and instill in her the values that are missing from public school. Moreover, I believe Reese and I are better off at home. So I get this eerie feeling when the phone rings mid morning and this woman's voice is at the other end. Anaya, in spite of everything that's happened, I really am a nice person. My ears perkle. Who the hell is this? I hear this breathy sigh like the caller is frustrated and has no more words. Then there's a click and a dial tone. Caller ID indicates the number is unavailable. If she's unavailable, why can't I be too? I say out loud, even though I haven't heard her voice in a while, I feel it was her. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. When two women have stacks in one man, a confrontation is always inevitable. Inedible. How you say that name word? I pick up the phone and dial Neil's job. Kyra patches me through to him. He isn't at his desk. I leave a message after the beep. Neil, handle your business. What her face called her here. My bad. What's her face called here? I don't know what she wants, but she should be dealing with you only cause I doubt seriously that she want to deal with me. It isn't the first time she called. When she was pregnant, she called. I'll be on the other line, and this woman would dial our home to ask to speak to Mr. Meadows. I was neither impressed nor fooled. She could have saved that because once she let Neil put his thing inside her, they long crossed the formality line. I wondered what she called him when he was on top of her. I doubt it was Mr. Meadows. So I'd be talking on the other line, and this woman would ask for my husband. I'll say, hold on. I'll terminate my call, click back to her, and hand Neil the phone. I'll stand right there looking at him and listening to their conversation. What? Fucking my husband isn't enough. She has to make house calls too. If I had known what was going to happen, maybe my insight would have stopped me from encouraging Neil to get his rocks off when someone other than himself. Maybe I should have steered him to Main Street so other than himself. Look, in the third ward to find something tantalizing prostitute he could lay up with and then go home, get some loving, and don't be worried about being in a whore's face anymore. But no, sensible, naive Neil has to find some clingy young thing who works in his office. He didn't volunteer this info up front. He dodged my questions about her, reminding me that although this wasn't in the arrangement, I verbally promised not to press him for details about his lover. Even though I pushed him into this, I resented that he had a secretive something he wasn't eager to share. And I'm human. Who is she? I already figured she wasn't overweight. No the hell way. That would defeat the purpose. At the time, I believe he probably found some weed wearing 115-pound leggy thing who had a big fat booty and and some jiggly titties. So typical. Not many respectable men go out of their way to search for a dog. So So fault me for that one. I set this up all wrong. I put Neil on a chain, but the chain was a little bit too long. Now I'm paying big time. Open mindedness costs. There's a huge price to pay when you love a man, tell him you'll do anything for him, then watch your whole world crumble because you're forced to prove the actions behind your words. That's crazy. Chapter 5 is Neil. So by the time my son marks his third week of life, I decide things between me and Anaya have settled down enough for me to make a little trip over to Danny's. This is the first time I get to see him since he's been born. I wanted to visit sooner, but Reese got sick with the flu, and I didn't want to uh, spread the germs. After I arrived at Danny's place, I noticed she lost a few pounds already. She looks relaxed. Her long brown wavy hair is bounced in a thick ponytail. She's sprouting a pair of distressed stretched jeans and a white cotton blouse that shows off her belly button. Well, look who decides to show up. Her voice is gentle, so I don't take offense. You know the deal, Danny. I don't want the little man getting sick. He known his father gonna be better than a turn minute, Daddy. We formed a strong bond already. I grabbed the baby's finger. He's asleep, eyes shut tight, and managing to look peaceful in a world filled with conflict. I want to climb in his crib, lie down, and cover both of us with a warm blanket. I bent over and stroked his soft forehead with my lips. He smelled good, clean and powdery. A big knot expands in my throat, but I know better than to surrender to my emotions. Can you believe we did that? Danny says. Her eyes are large and unblinking. She keeps shaking her head. I want him to have the best of everything, she continues. But he shouldn't be totally spoiled. That's why he hasn't slept with me in my bed. I don't even want to start all that. What do you do when he cries? I'll wait a while to see if he keeps it up. If he does, I'll go check on him, let him see my face, but I resist picking Braxton up. I flinch. A few days after the baby was born, Danny and I agreed to change his name to Braxton Fraser. Fraser is her last name. I gestured at Danny that we leave the baby's room. When we settled in her kitchen, I noticed a dozen wicker baskets. There is colored tissue paper, oil, scented powders, tiny bottles of jam, plus a whole bunch of other items covered the entire table. Daddy creates gift baskets as a side business. She likes making beautiful things in a good and are good with her hands. Her intent oh shit. Her intuitive is one of the things I admire about her. When we first agreed to hook up and once we got past the initial sex attraction, I tried to see her for what she is, a beautiful, vicious woman who gets tasty at times, but is loyal. If she takes any missteps, they're not taken willingly. She's blessed with a decent heart, and I didn't want that to change. I see you've gotten some orders here. I say, lifting a garment and coffee, pack it, and inhaling the strong, intoxicating aroma of coffee beans. Yep, the closer we get to the holidays, the more the orders pile up. Usually more than 600. I don't mind all, even though I am aching to get back to work. When you coming back? I'm supposed to be there 4 weeks and at the end of October, but I might come back a week early. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but some parts of me wish I could put in for a transfer. I don't respond. At times, I wish you'll put in a transfer too. I don't know how long we could continue this charade. The way Danny used to come to work every day with a ooh, protruding belly, but never mentioned the identity of her child's father. Me trying to avoid her around the office, something I'm not sure my colleagues about. Not when they remembered how friendly Danny and I had been in the past. We do lunch, sometimes dinner, and I always on the pretense of work. But no one ever saw me slide my arm around her in an appropriate manner during staff meetings. We sat on opposite ends of the conference table and we didn't arrive at work or after work functions together. Even though it pained me to play these roles in front of others, I always try to make things up to her. Sometimes I'll go to her place in the evenings and rub her feet for a half hour, or I'll offer to go grocery shopping or pick her up at a hot meal, making sure she had everything she needed, anything to help ease the awkward situation. She never asked me to do this. I just did it. And when got in the core of our relationship, that's when we were able to relax and be the way we felt for we wanted to be. Our little trites would take place during the lunch break. She lives a few miles from work. Every weekday, she show up at the office wearing her business apparel and my favorite string bikini underneath. A few minutes after, a few minutes, a few minutes after noon, we'll meet in her apartment, go to her bedroom, and kiss and fondle each other. She'll let me partially undress her, removing her jackets, blouse, and skirts. Then she'll spread out on the bed with her legs open. She smiled and untied the string so I could see part of her vagina. I'll stare at her for a moment, and it will take me no time for me to get heated up. When I couldn't stand it any longer, I'll yank off her bikini top and bottom, and then it would pull me against her breast and let me bang and pound and thrash around wildly inside of her until I felt like I was losing my mind. It was easy to hold Danny, a joy to squeeze her tight in my arms. Her flesh felt right in my skin, like we were body parts that fit perfectly without awkwardness. She told me I was hung like a King Kong, which would make me blush every time. Sometimes I'll make love to her and imagine she was Anaya. Other times I'm happy Danny was just Danny. One time after we both climaxed and were too worn out to jump out of her bed just yet, Danny nudged me. Are you falling in love? She continued talking as if I weren't there. This man and woman started out making love every 2 weeks, but now they're seeing each other 3 times a week with plans to meet on the weekend. This is so exciting for me. I'm having the greatest sex of my life, but I think I'm falling for you. Neil, I just wondered if you're having some same feelings. Or am I alone in this? She looked at me, but when I didn't respond, she rushed to take a shower. I was glad she didn't press me for an answer. Tonight, Anaya's call. Tonight, Anaya calls me out of my library and pours a pitcher of icy cold beer. I have the sports section clutched in one hand. I study her and the pitcher she places on the end of the table in our living room. One lamp is on. The It's hard to see, but I notice a weary smile on Anaya's lips. What do you want? I ask. She points to the sofa I sit. Anaya makes a trumpet noise and kicks off her pink slippers. She flops on the couch with a grin so wide it seems like her entire face is lit up. Anaya reaches and grabs the pitcher of beer and sets it on the floor. The liquid slows. Watch that, I tell her. But I'm not scolding. Watch this, Anaya says. Anaya guides her right foot. The leg wobbles. She plunges her big toe in the pitcher. Woo! She shivers cold. Are you okay? I ask. Yeah, why? Does it seem like me? Huh? Anaya makes a circle in the beer with her toe, then slithers to the carpet, lies on her back, and looks at me. Come here, Neil. I glance at my watch. Neil, come on now. You're spoiling everything. I bare my teeth but lay the sports section on the couch. The only sound I hear is the steady hum of the air condition. I squat next to Anaya, my wife, someone who I cannot figure out half the time, is still smiling mischievously. Her quirky ways. Oh, okay. Um, so sometimes what starts out as an attraction, a that's so cute kind of thing, can become the source of an annoyance like years later. Anaya looks up and raises her foot towards my face. She giggles, extends her leg closer to my cheek. Her wet toe pokes me. I don't move. She slides her toe until I bear down on my mouth. What? My closed mouth fights to keep her toe from prying itself inside. Come on, Neil, she pleads. I can tell what she's doing. Anaya knows I love to suck different body parts. Oh, whoa. But she never stuck her toe in any of my favorite drinks before. Why is she acting like this? Maybe it's because yesterday, for the first time in a long time, I came home late, past 10 o'clock on a weeknight. When I walked in the room and I went straight to the library, I didn't bother to call her from my cell, and I said I got in like I normally do, so she could then go to sleep. Anaya stares at me with a hardened face. So you won't even suck my toe? I look away into my eyes, find the sports section. Neil, I'll do it for you. No, you won't. Or at least you haven't before. I remember her. Why the sudden change? I was reading somewhere about how to combat my little problem, she nods. And it said a little sexual aggression could be the. I doubt that, I say. Because when I initiated sexual aggression on the part, Neil, I was hoping you'll like it. Join in. I shake my head at her like I don't buy what she's saying. I think the point is that I'm making an effort, but you won't even try. Once to diffuse the atmosphere, I'm tempted to grab the pitcher and start slurping the liquor until it's gone. But I sense Anaya won't laugh. Anaya leans against the couch and folds her arms tightly against her chest. You never did tell me where you were last night. I stared out in space, wondering if her little suction, excuse me, one of her little seduction attempt is due to my coming home late. Oh, so you're gonna keep that info to yourself, huh? Cool. She may say the word cool, but I know better. Women say that when they figure the ball is in their court and now it's their turn to deceive or devise some strategy that will make a man regret his actions. Anaya, I don't want to lie to you. Then don't. But I don't want to tell the truth either. Oh, Neil, she says. See, all of this isn't necessary. I just wish you wouldn't act so different. I hate that you're changing. I'm different. I am not different. Get real. A woman knows her man. I can perceive the subject change to you. Even the air feels different in the house, as if spirits are lurking about, and we're sharing our living space with unseen forces. Sounds silly, but that's what I sense. Anaya shivers and rubs her arms with my fingers. With her fingers. She has a sad look on her face, like she's distressed beyond comfort. I feel like an ass. I wish I could blame everything on someone else, but I think of who that person could be. Everything points to me. Anaya, look, I don't want to get into a detailed decision. I just think that if you or your happiness depends on knowing where I am 24/7, you'll be miserable. And as far as sucking your toes, you have some beautiful toes. I glanced at her. I'm just not in a sucking mood right now. You're not in the mood. Huh. I know better than to argue. If she accused me of being the mythical Bigfoot, I'll say, yep, you caught me. Anything to keep the arguments from continuing. I scoot closer to Anaya, wrap my arms around her shoulder, and squeeze. Usually, she leans against me and puts her head against the crook of my neck. But now she just sits stiffly like a frozen painting with a frozen sad smile on her face, like like she's frozen in time. This is Anaya right here. Okay, let's see. That was chapter 4 and chapter 5. Yeah, that was crazy. Chapter 4 and chapter 5 was very, very steamy. Basically, Anaya was okay in chapter 4. She was trying to get her life back in track as far as in, with her own baby and her sister-in-law, which is keeping her busy. But it seemed like she's been doing some research for chapter 5 for Neil to be going to um for him to be going to old girl house, Danny house, and sitting there. Now, did he really have a? I have to go back because I'm trying to see. Did he have a recap of her house? Like, what was that about when he was like there in the bed? He said, yeah, because he said one time after we climaxed and we were too worn out to jump out of her bed just yet. And then she said all of this about they falling in love, okay? And then after that, tonight Anaya calls me out of the library. Then he goes to talking about Anaya. So, but that's rewind before that, cause he was up in there talk, talking about the baby. So it kind of just threw me off because he was sitting there and he was talking about the baby, and then he started going into details like he was imagining it, but he didn't even say if he left the house. He just said that he came home late. So am I tripping? Are we missing something from him coming home late, or is it that he was sleeping with Danny? So I'm confused because yes, if he knows that Anaya have this issue with her getting aroused or even feeling like a feeling of pleasure to even have sex and or trying to have it, and now she's trying to have it with him. I think that this should be a time where he's vulnerable with her, but instead it seems like he's just trying to just get rid of just just shove her away. But like she said, or like he even mentioned, in his thinkings, oh well, I know that this might be from me coming home last night late. I came home on a weekday at 10 o'clock. Okay, so what you doing? You did you go to old girl house? You old girl messing around? Or when you went to go see Junior or whatever, he was asleep. You know what I'm saying? Then you get home, like, what? I'm confused. Like, I want to know what happened that night. Because, baby, I feel like they were together that night, and that's why he left late. But I don't know. I could be wrong. That was a good chapter. That was chapter 4 and chapter 5. So if you want to rewind it and listen to it, it was very juicy. Um, I myself feel as though Neil really likes Danny, and that um, yeah, I don't think him. I don't think him and Anaya can come. My just for me, just reading this, I think that Anaya is like trying to get a life together and not thinking about it because, of course, he have or have I what I seen. He has not seen like his his baby. I mean, she has not seen him. Like the baby hasn't been around her, so she's kind of like blamed to it because she don't see all of that. But him coming home late and him not wanting to fornicate when she want to, that might be a problem with her. So we're gonna figure that out. I think what chapter? Let me see. Chapter 6 is Anaya, so we're gonna figure where her mind at about how Neil did, or hopefully they will tell it. But chapter 6 is so long, and I'm already 30 minutes in. So I love y'all. Good night, and love you. Please subscribe if you're not. Bye. Love you.